Developers may have offered some residents of this condo building as much as $1 million to move out. And today, we're going to talk about why. I told you guys I wasn't going to be doing any more walking tours. It's too hot, but I got my e-bike. Hey everybody, I'm Palm Beach's Paul, your local realtor and guide to South Florida living, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to my trusted old e-bike, and welcome to West Palm Beach. I am cruising along Flagler here. You can see I spin around here. You got the, I don't know if that's the FWC out there. There's an emblem on that boat. Might be the police, or it just might be someone with an emblem. I can't tell from here. But there's a lot of other nice boats, and of course there's beautiful homes all around, and we are right along the waterfront here, and well, we know who this person voted for, and his house is right there. And when we get to the top of this hill in just a second, where that big tower is, that's where President Trump lives. By the way, I just watched a really cool documentary on Mar-a-Lago about the home and how Marjorie Merriweather Post, who had it built, the heiress and socialite of Palm Beach back in the 1930s. That tower, I didn't know this, but that tower functioned as a cooling mechanism. It would allow cool air to come into the house. I thought that was kind of cool. So obviously it's a tower now, but I guess they said that it worked as sort of a ventilation type system for the house to keep it cool before they had AC. So pretty interesting. Gonna fly right over my head. So today I'm coming to you from Southland Park. You can see right here, historic Southland Park, built in 1923. And you can see these beautiful historic homes that are right here on the waterfront of the Intracoastal Waterway, and of course across the way there is the island of Palm Beach. And this little neighborhood's mostly single family homes, but as you get to the end of it here, as you can see, you see some condos that were added there in the 70s and the 60s. Now if you've been following my channel for a while, which many of you have, you will remember I'm always videoing where there's planes, aren't I? That's because I'm in West Palm, right by the airport. That's a big one. But if you have been following my channel, you might remember last year when I made a video about zombie condo buildings, right? And developers coming in and buying out the residents of condo buildings. Developers are out looking for condo buildings that they can acquire, and they call the term condo termination, like being terminated, right? Your condo building is literally being terminated. And they go through a process. So the way this happens is they make offers or try to buy up all the individual units. Well, I told you guys I'd stay on top of the story, and today that's exactly what I'm doing, because the building I'm about to show you is doing exactly that. The residents of this building are getting offered huge sums of money to sell their condos so the developers can build a brand new 18-story condo building.
I've seen multiple people move out of their homes today. They're making way for what's likely a new development in West Palm Beach. City documents I found show developers Coulter Group and Perco Development want to knock down the existing 3-story building from the 60s, then build an 18-story building with the same number of units.
So this building right here has developers offering the residents buyouts on their unit. And the report said that some of the people in here have been offered as much as $700,000 for their 2-bedroom, 2-bath units. So the building was built in 1969, and in 1984 it was turned into 39 condos. And as you can see, it's a 3-story building, not too big, goes from here, goes over there, kind of like in an L shape. But it is one of the shorter buildings. As you can see, some of the other high-rise buildings on here. And going down this way, I think the one at the end of the street is also a 3-story building. But the developers want to tear this down and put in an 18-story high-rise going up, looking right across here at Palm Beach, just like many of the other condo buildings that you've seen on Flagler Drive, which a lot of the residents here aren't happy about because they think that it's going to, remove the charm of this neighborhood that's been here since 1923. But like I said, many of the residents in here have been offered substantial amounts of money. One couple was offered $700,000, and some of the people who held out may have been offered as much as $1 million to sell their condo, which is a great payday for them. Now, the developers are going to do more than just buy out the condo. They also have plans to work on the seawall here because of the king tide, putting money towards that. They're also going to buy, I guess there's a playground around here that they're going to offer $50,000 for that, and put some other money into the city of West Palm Beach. But there is one kink in that plan, and that is that currently you can't have buildings 18 stories tall right here on the waterfront. So Coulter Group and Perco Development are the people behind the project, and they're currently petitioning the city of West Palm Beach to change their zoning laws to allow them to build up to 18 stories, because currently the zoning only allows for 10 stories. And so if I turn around, as you can see, for this area right here, the zoning law has a height restriction. But the developers are trying to get them to change that. But in the report that I read from the local news station, the developer said, if we don't get permission to build 18 stories, we'll just build 10 stories anyway, and we won't do anything with the city of West Palm Beach. We'll just apply for our building permit, and when we get approved, we'll start building. So it already passed one vote at the commission, and I don't know if they went this past Monday, past the second vote. That I didn't see yet, but so it could have passed. They may have been approved. But I was wrong. It's not $50,000. It's $100,000 that they paid for like a playground, and then they're also donating $5,000 to the Audubon Society. And then you see the water here and the seawall in this area. Well, when we get king tides, when it's really high, it can flood. We've seen this in Del Rey, and so they've also said that they would contribute $100,000 to working on that, so it's not flooding here. But that's if they get approved. If they don't get approved, then I assume they're just going to build a 10-story building and all that other stuff goes out the door. But I don't know 100% about that, but that's what it sounds like when I read the report. And from the looks of the parking lot, there don't seem to be a lot of cars there anymore. So I have to assume that a lot of the people have already sold. I was hoping I'd get to talk to someone today and ask them some questions, but I haven't seen anybody walk out. I just saw the mailman leave, and that's it. And I haven't seen anybody walking up on the balconies, or anybody walking around for that matter. So the place may be, already vacated, except for I see a few cars here. By the way, I'd like to take this time to remind you that I'm not just a YouTuber who makes videos about living in South Florida. I am an actual realtor with True Floridian Realty, and all my information is right here. So you can reach out to me, and I can help you buy or sell real estate here in beautiful South Florida. And if you want more information, you can scan the QR code, and by doing that, you can get added to my monthly e-newsletter where I have updates about what's going on and share some local tips on some of my favorite places to eat and places to go that are fun. And also you can request one of the mini brochures that I offer, such as the 2025 Hurricane Guide, which I shared last Sunday because next week is hurricane season. But I also have a relocation guide, a buyer's guide, and a seller's guide. So scan the QR code, get hooked up with all the great information from your favorite South Florida realtor, Palm Beaches Paul. All right, back to the video. Now, as you can imagine, there's a lot of people who are not happy about an 18-story condo going up because they are, concerned that it's taken away the charm of this little area. But there are those who say we need these high-rise multifamily unit housings because we have a lot of executives who are now relocating to South Florida because they've moved their companies here. And if they don't live here in West Palm Beach, then they will live in another city, which obviously is an economic loss to the city of West Palm Beach. And it's also going to increase the traffic as those people will be coming from other cities into West Palm Beach, causing more traffic. Whereas if they live here in West Palm Beach, it's a shorter commute, and many of them could actually ride a bike to work, or if they're close enough, walk. As you can see, there's lots of development going on with new homes going up where they're replacing, as you can see, some of the older mansions that were here along Flagler Drive. And I've been here before. We're just literally south of West Palm Beach. It's sad for me to see these beautiful historic homes get torn down. They just have so much charm to them. But, you know, when people have the money and they can do what they want, and there's no historic designation with the property, then you can buy the land and put in a mega mansion like this one right here, coming soon. So neighborhoods like this, which is close to El Cid, and I'm not sure exactly which neighborhood I'm in right now, but you do have these beautiful old historic homes. This is where a lot of those executives are looking to buy, and as you can see, look at this one. This is absolutely one of my favorite homes of all time in South Florida, in Palm Beach County. Look at this house, this corner lot, actually like a center lot. I mean, just what a beautiful home. That water fountain that's probably been there since the 1920s. That house is just stunning. I love everything about it. The color, the trees. That is a cool house. It's been one of my favorites for years. As I said, we used to live up in West Palm, and we would come down here and walk around this area. And just a beautiful neighborhood too. I mean, if you've got the money, this is definitely one of the neighborhoods to look at. These old beautiful homes and just the quiet streets, no HOA, and you're close to West Palm Beach. So this is where a lot of the people would probably look to move, or the high-end condos like you've seen in my videos that I've been covering. All the new condos that are going up on Flagler Drive, this condo is doing just that. They're putting a brand new condo building, 18 stories tall, looking over the Intercoastal Waterway, and you know, I'm sure there'll be high-end properties for those who can afford to live there. So I looked up, and this is called Prospect Park. That's what this historic neighborhood is. And as the sign says, no swimming in the fountain. It's hot and there's no water in it, so I couldn't anyway. But there is shade, so I think we'll head over there. I've driven through this neighborhood so many times, so I've never stopped in it, and I'm glad I did. This is really peaceful. What a beautiful, beautiful old neighborhood. It's gonna be expensive, millions of dollars to live here, of course, but hey, if you can afford it, it's a beautiful place to live. So we'll see if that condo project gets approved and they get to do 18 stories or 10 stories, and I'll follow up with that as soon as I find something in the news. And you know, as I said, I was hoping I could have talked to someone there. I'm always hoping if I get someone on camera, but it's really difficult to get people on camera, but I'm gonna keep trying. I think it would add to the story. But with all that development going on, as you see, the new condos being built and all these signs on all these homes that are for sale, there's another thing that's going on not only in Florida, but the rest of the country. And that is that 1 in 7 homes that went under contract canceled. And the share of those homes that canceled, many of them are right here in the state of Florida. Florida actually had 5 of the 10 metros with the highest cancellation rates. And for those of you who might not understand what a cancellation is, I mean on a contract, when you go under contract on the house, right, you have time to do your due diligence, do your inspection and all that, and you have a certain time that you can cancel your contract. Again, this is different for every other state, but here in Florida, on an as-is contract, in the contract it has anywhere between 0 and 15 days to do your research, see if you like the HOA, see if the HOA's got rules that you like or don't like, check out the neighborhood, commute to work, whatever it is. You have that time, whatever's put in the contract, so let's say 10 days. You have 10 days to cancel your contract, and it's at the buyer's sole discretion. Very important that you remember that. And what's that mean? It means that I could come in here and put an offer on a house and get the offer accepted and be going through, and in my 10 days, I could decide that I don't like that this neighborhood doesn't have water in that fountain, and I can cancel for that reason alone. And there's not anything anybody could do about it, because in the contract it says at my sole discretion. So, an alarming rate of contracts have canceled. Now, why are they canceling? Well, they're canceling for one reason, because there's so much inventory here in Florida right now for condos and single family homes that if they don't like what they find in their inspection, or they don't like that the fountain doesn't have water here, they can choose another home, because as you've seen and I'll drive down the street, there's sign after sign after sign. So if this house doesn't work for them, they have a plethora of other homes that they can choose from. As I said, you'll see sign after sign of properties for sale, because there's so much inventory. Now as we cruise down the street, I start heading back to the cars. I see the clouds coming. Wow, well, that's a beautiful one, isn't it? Gotta love the Mediterranean style homes. But there's a lot of reasons why the contracts might get canceled, not just for inspections and stuff like that. You know, some people may find that they just don't like their payment. You know, once they get into it and they look at it, and they may realize that it's going to cost more, especially when they get like a quote for insurance. Again, you know, that might be a reason. Who knows? But also, you know, people might be backing out because then they start realizing, like I said, the cost of insurance and the cost of the HOA and the maintenance and whatever it is. There could be a lot of reasons. And obviously reasons like hurricanes and storms are causing people to rethink buying properties. They may put a contract on and then something happens and they get cold feet. But the number of people canceling is definitely up, and it's more than it's been in quite a few years. So roughly 56,000 homes canceled in the month of April. That's up 14.3% from 13.5% the year earlier. So that is quite a lot of homes that canceled. And as I said, a lot of those contracts were here in the state of Florida. It's like a gingerbread house. Love it. Also, economic uncertainty, the tariffs, just a lot of things causing people to pause. But what that means is that there's a glut of inventory, right? So there is more inventory, and there are more home sellers right now than there are buyers in the United States. And what does that mean? That means it is a buyer's market, folks. If you've been waiting for the buyer's market, it's here, it's now. If you're waiting to get those deals, it's here, it's now. Now's the time that you should be looking at buying some properties. Right now, you can get great deals on properties. You can go in and get under asking price. If the seller's really motivated, you can also get them to offer incentives, right? Pay some of your closing costs. I'm telling you, those who keep thinking they're gonna wait till the market hits bottom and then they're gonna time it and go buy, you're gonna lose. They always do, because what's gonna happen, I mean, you may get someone that's lucky, but the majority of people are not that savvy. And what's gonna happen is when everyone does that and then they start buying, what do you think the sellers are gonna do when they get 20, 30 people through their open house? Do you think they're gonna sell it for that price? Hell no. They're gonna take that price and jack it way up, just like they did back in 2020. So, you know, everyone comes in and they think they're gonna get the deal of the century on the house. But meanwhile, the listing agent and the seller's gonna go, damn, we had 40 people come through the door. I think we need to raise the price of our house by $20,000. And you know what? They're right, and they'll get it. And then it'll be another bidding war. So I'm just telling you, I'm in the streets, I'm in the field, folks. I'm here living it. I can tell you, if you go out right now and you try to negotiate on some deals, you can get a deal on a house or a condo. Obviously, it's not a perfect time for everybody, so if it's not right for you, then don't do it. But if you're just sitting there waiting for the market to drop so low that you're gonna get this mega deal, good luck. I mean, you may do it. I know some people have, but the majority of people will miss out. And when enough homes start getting enough people looking at them again, the sellers are just gonna raise the price again. I've seen it, I saw it happen, I went through it, I've been through it. I've been doing real estate for 13 years. Don't believe me, ask any other realtor, they'll tell you the exact same thing. So, and part of the incentives of you know, some of the money that you can get from the sellers, right? If you can get some concessions from them, closing costs, you can use that to pay down your interest rate, right? Buy down some points, get a little bit better interest rate. And then, you know, if the interest rates, not gonna guarantee they do, but if the interest rates drop, you can refinance later on your property. But you got the house at a really good price. Sorry, I don't mean to rant, but I always get people that make these comments that typical realtor telling people it's a good time to buy. Listen, for some people, it is a good time to buy. It might not be for you. That's fine. It's not for everybody. But for some people, it is a good time to buy. And if you are pre-approved and you can afford it and you're looking to buy a house, now is an excellent time to buy a home because it's a buyer's market. You can take advantage of the market. There's so much inventory out there that if you don't like the one house, you can go to the next house. And sellers don't want to lose out. They want that house to be sold. They want you to close on it. So they're going to be more willing to negotiate and give you incentives now than ever before. The sellers who think they're going to price their house like it's 2022, they're in for shock. They got another thing coming. They're going to see that their house sits on the market for 60, 100, 200 days, not moving. And I'm seeing those properties in South Florida. And what happens? Price drop, price drop, price drop. And you keep doing the price drop, you know what happens? It loses value to the buyer. And then they look at it and they think something's wrong with this house, nobody's buying it. When in reality, it was probably a good house. They just priced it wrong. They thought that they could price it and do like they did back in 2022. And they thought, hey, you know, someone will make me an offer. Well, maybe they'll come in and we'll negotiate. No, people just will skip the house altogether because there's 15 other homes in the neighborhood that are just as good and priced $20,000 less. A lot of these sellers have been dropping their prices. So places like Northport, Cape Coral, Jacksonville, even Tampa, they've seen huge price drops on their listings because the properties just aren't selling. And there's many other. Matter of fact, Florida had the most of the top 10 homes across the nation. Other places like Arizona were included in there, but Florida had 5 of the top 10 had cities where they've done significant price drops. By the way, folks, if you like these videos that I bring to you each week, please be sure to hit that subscribe button. Also click the little bell because you'll get notified every time I release a new video, and I release a new video every Sunday at 10 a.m. But I'm also now doing live streams on Wednesday at 6:30. So you can hop on there and ask me some questions, and a lot of times I'll have a guest. And also just hit that like button because that helps the analytics, and share my video with anyone you know who might want to move down here to South Florida and look at real estate. Also, you can always scan this QR code to get in touch with me for all my real estate advice I'm happy to share with you. So, the question remains, will the residents of this waterfront community have a new 18-story building right there, looking over at Mar-a-Lago? Or will it just be 10 stories? Well, only time will tell, and once I know, I'll be sure to let you guys know. All right, folks, be sure to click the link at the end of this video so you can see more videos about living here in South Florida and some of my tours of different cities where I go into the history. And wherever you are in the world, get out and enjoy paradise. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you either Wednesday or next Sunday, right here, same place, same channel, same Palm Beaches Paul. Get out and enjoy paradise.
Residents in the Flagler house are now packing up after city commissioners gave the green light to an 18-story luxury complex on this approximately 1-acre lot.